What's up, everybody? It's about that time for another edition of the Crew Radio Show. I'm Kevin Swan, co-host of the show, and the crew are professional people who are also friends that come together to talk about the things you want us to talk about. We talk about it all, and we don't hold back. So come on and join us for another edition of the Crew Radio Show. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Crew right here on WHOV 88.1 FM, right here on our social media outlets on YouTube, the Crew Radio Show. Hope that you are enjoying our broadcast. But listen, we're here today. I have to share some news with you all today that today's show is not just our show for the season finale. This is actually our series finale. This is it, y'all. This is it.
Yeah.
And I know that there are a lot of people that might be surprised, and I know that a lot of people, when they hear this, they might be, all right, what's the scoop? What's going on? What's the tea? Like, why y'all breaking up, right? Like, what's going on?
Because this Negro here been tip-tapping on our last reserve nerve.
He's cheating.
That's why.
He's cheating.
Wait, we got say that word.
Clean that up. I ain't cheating.
We talk about faster. We got to
That's what
fix
makes
that.
it exciting.
That's what makes it exciting.
On the crew.
Nah, listen. So,
Tip-tapping.
real talk. So, I'm starting with this. There's no beef between us at all.
No.
We are family here.
Absolutely.
And we love each other. We love each other off the air. Y'all just got to know how crazy it is with us off the air. On the air, I'll start with me. I think I've been doing this for 20 years.
Yeah.
20 years is a long time.
It's a long time.
Long time.
And I think I started this before I was even pastoring.
Oh, wow.
And started
With Rob Dixon,
Started
right?
with Rob Dixon, station manager here, who is transitioned, by the way.
Rest in peace. Rest in
He's
peace.
gone. And so I want to take a moment to thank Jay Lang, who
Absolutely.
Jay took a chance on us,
Believed in us.
to continue the show. And so we have been one of the longest running talk shows on WHOV. Number one rated for a very long time.
Award winning.
Went on Sirius
Let's not
XM, all
forget
that kind of stuff. So I want to say to you all, I love y'all. And I know Jay's not on the camera, but Jay's, you got a mic, you can say some things too, man. This has been an absolute enjoyment and
I'm
blessing.
holding on to the end.
Okay.
He just want to cry.
He just want to cry to you.
Absolutely.
Okay, he's the baby of the group. He's the baby of the group.
And I think what people need to understand is that this is not the end of us.
Right.
Yes.
It's the ending
Evolution.
of the evolving of the show.
The season is over.
Correct.
Correct.
I think for us, we recognize that there's podcasts, there's other opportunities, but I think we also know that we do very well live
Yeah.
in front of an audience where we can really engage the audience, be
And act
live
up.
with them,
And act up.
cut up with them.
And act up.
So we will be around. We will be doing other things. We just did CNU Social Justice Conference. We did HU's Black Family Conference. So if there's a conference in our area, y'all want us to be there, we'll make it happen.
Yes, we will.
We're going to do that. But as far as the radio show, I think we are here at this point to say that it's a season, and that's it. There's no ill will. There's no animosity. It's just a season. Yeah. And I want to thank y'all because y'all have made this an absolute joy to do.
Why you lie?
Alvin, I want to thank you. Sia, I want to thank you.
That's it. Only halfway over here.
Jay, I want to thank you.
Why you up here lying?
But that tongue, and I don't know, I ain't going to thank him.
I'm just keeping it real. Y'all know how I do. I just keep it real.
Oh,
you know?
my God.
Well, he's
Just
the
keep it
reason
real.
why we cancel. You know what I'm saying?
I just keep it real.
There's no ill will.
You know it will, but I mean,
I'ma still be on Soul Street, y'all. So y'all come back and see me. Y'all can
Now,
still come back and see me
That's-
on Saturday.
that's part of it anyway. You've been moonlighting the whole time. No loyalty whatsoever.
Whatever.
No loyalty
Whatever.
whatsoever. But y'all good? Everybody good before we
Yeah.
go on with the show?
Yeah.
You know, good is
Tell
a
the whole
strong word.
truth.
Good is a strong
It's
word.
bittersweet.
It is. It's definitely bittersweet. I think, you know, when we're out, and we've talked about it, when we're out and about and we see people, I think the excitement when people come up to us to tell us about how much they've enjoyed the show, like, I'm going to miss that in a sense of, like, we're bringing hard-hitting topics. We break down complex, you know, ideas into just regular talk, you know, and so I think there's a space for that. But again, it's going to be in a different way at a different time. So still going to be doing the work, but just maybe not at this exact table You know,
Right. Maybe not like, who knows? It might be like this at some point. Who knows? But right now, the season is what it is.
Yeah.
I ain't asking you. Al, how you? You all right? You good?
I love you too, Kev.
If that's love, I don't know.
That's my brother. I claim him.
So it's crazy. I'm going to get emotional. But I think it's more the fact that this season has come with such significant goodbyes. Yes. So most of you guys obviously know that I had been gone most of the season because my mom died. And then Sia's mom died right behind that. And I think that while I am so excited for what we're going to do in new ways, when you've said such big goodbyes, everything that you've held tight to that has been a safe place, a constant, and I can depend on becomes something different. So it's not a sadness in the, like, I hate that this has to happen and that we have to evolve.
Right.
I'm excited for what we're going to be next. Yeah. But it's just when you're already a raw heart, every goodbye means something different in this season. And we have had an on-air family for a long time.
For a long time.
I mean, I remember I was walking through City Center one day talking to Chelsea. And there were two men that were just in little carts, you know, like the golf carts, and they clearly were part of the maintenance team for City Center. And I didn't know these men at all. And just by the sound of my voice, they were like, I know who you are. And we were just having a conversation. And they were like, what you guys do, y'all have us, I don't want to get out of my car at lunchtime. I'm trying to sit in the car the whole lunchtime. It's those experiences where, like, you don't even realize how many people you've become part of their life, right?
You're absolutely right.
And so this farewell for now is going to mean something to people in ways that we don't even recognize because we've been their lunch date every day when they didn't have somebody to call, when they didn't have somebody to spend time with, when they were looking for joy, when they were looking for information, unfiltered and honest, when they wanted real connection, when they wanted to hear what faith sounds like when you live it in all things. We were part of all of that for so many people. So I know it's not just going to be us who has to manage our emotions and feelings around it. We have a whole family that we have not, some of which we've never met in person, who feel like they have lived a life with us. And I am so eternally grateful for the gift of that, because what I know now, having said goodbye to my mom, is that the willingness for people to give you their time, don't underestimate it.
100%.
Wow.
And I do want to say, for clarity, you know, we certainly still walk with you both in this journey, and we know that it happened in the same season. This had no bearing on this decision. I want people to understand.
Well, I, honestly, let me put a little asterisk to that. I will say, since March 11th, it actually has been hard for me to show up in spaces when people expect the pre-March 11th Sia.
Me
and
too.
So the decision, it had, but honestly, this has even become hard, not because of us. I love seeing, but just to try to maintain a previously established consistency, a previously established expectation of excellence. And like some days I ain't got it. I ain't got it. And so among many of the emotions, there was a tiny bit of relief that I had some reprieve, that I didn't have to be on, because I didn't want to let y'all down coming up and not being prepared, not being on, not being, with it or whatever. And so I would say that whatever is next, we have the opportunity to bring our new selves to it, and whatever that is, because we still trying to figure out, and we just talked like whatever that new norm is, and just remembering that if nobody else was listening, I knew Valerie Scott Price was listening, even when we switched times. I just and she would call, and whether I asked for it or not, she got the feedback, and she would tell me to tell y'all to be nice to each other and everything. So like,
You hear that?
even it was mostly
Yeah, Kev, you
everybody knows.
Everybody knows it's you. It's you. It's always you. Always.
But just even that the like when I leave after a show, I can't talk to her about it. Even that is like
hard.
So with the season, I do love that there'll be new memories. There'll be new expectations. There'll be a newness to whatever we co-create, even just in our friendship, not even just like professionally. But yeah, I mean, there is no way around it that it's just who we are day by day has been impacted by significant loss. And so I know it didn't bear on your decision as far as like the season part, but to be clear,
it definitely bared ours.
Yeah.
And to know that, and I love that you said the way that you said that, in essence, that who we were before losing our moms, we will never be those women again.
Ever.
So there is an excitement about figuring out who we're going to be, but we are very much in the transition of discovering and becoming the post-mommy.
And it is
us, and it's
treacherous.
hard.
Oh my God.
That's the one thing I like about us. We are in high professional positions, but I think on this show we've always been willing to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I think that gives people an in, which is why our show has been so popular, because we've never hidden behind the title.
Absolutely.
Right? It's
There's
it's
no
just
protection
us.
behind it.
Right. It's
Nothing to
just,
have.
it's just us. And when I can lovingly say to Ton that I don't like him, it means something. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not hiding. I'm not pretending. I'm genuinely saying how I feel. See? And
That's why my people gonna catch you one time in the alley.
Them comments.
I'm gonna tell y'all right now.
Oh my God.
Ivy family, if y'all get him called that he's in the care plans, just know that somebody in Tom's distant family called him in the alley. Because my family, we rock hard.
You do.
Yeah, we rock real hard.
Now you said it,
people
and
are faithful.
and I tell them, I say, y'all back down, y'all stand
But he
down.
can't hold him back forever.
I can't hold him down forever. I tell them, y'all
just-
stand down. That's my brother. I love him for real. So y'all stand down. But if y'all get that call, they in the camera.
This is just the vulnerability part
Somebody
of our show.
shanked him.
Somebody got him. Somebody they could be like,
Oh my God.
they got him, y'all. They got him.
I know. And don't forget, the shanking was metaphorical.
Yeah,
y'all.
let's be clear.
Metaphorical.
It was.
I don't know about
Clear.
that.
It was. I know.
This is a non-violent show.
But they rock hard. I'm just
Metaphorical
saying.
shanking.
And keep in
They
mind, he is
They
the
are
Commonwealth
faithful. They
attorney.
Yes, sir. Yes,
We
sir.
are legal and law-abiding.
They faithful. Street people faithful.
Yeah, hood people are faithful.
They are very faithful.
If they ain't nothing else.
They done made me t-shirts and sweatshirts and the whole nine. They real. They for real.
More people talk to me outside of the show about you.
Really?
And I be wanting to ask them why do you come to me?
Y'all must not know the real
Why do
you.
you come to me, Will?
Because people love the interaction. So what you see on
That big
show,
brother, little brother.
it's
Oh my
really
God.
off air
It
as
is.
well. We really are. We blood for life.
He's not lying.
And so we're not. This
He's
is not
not
made
lying.
up.
You
It's
should
just our
see the
vibe.
group chat.
Yeah, and we go at it. And here's the thing. Better not nobody mess with him.
That's right.
Because they come for him. He know, and he got a word for me. He said, "I flame people." Like I don't flame people. He like Tom, flame them, Tom. Like I got
Like a
this special.
torch.
Yeah, like I got this torch ability.
You do.
That is an accurate. That's
Thank you,
an
Sia.
accurate.
He don't believe it. He don't believe it, Sia.
Because it's like it's off. and then it's on and it's targeted and then it's off. But like you're not walking around like a wildfire or nothing. But it is a very targeted flame. I think it's kind of
like a dragon.
I think it's a good.
It's the last show. You coming to the light. Don't last. You gonna come to the light.
But you don't think you do?
It's like a fire-breathing dragon.
Yes, exactly.
I think that I make it quite clear you don't want none of this.
You see how you tiptoed that fine line?
No.
You just said the same thing.
Let me say this. One thing I always tell people, me and my other brother, Lashes, we talk about it all the time. We never, ever start any beef.
Period.
Because we just not that type of people. I hate
Right.
bullies. That's the other piece, too. I hate bullies.
That's why he said he don't like you.
And so, yeah, that's
Did you
why I
get
like
that?
you.
You get that?
Because
You got that?
Now, you're a bully. You're a bully. So, like, but I digress for a second. I'll come back to you.
I refuse
So,
that.
when I see a bully, and I guess that helps me being a prosecutor. Because when I see that bully, it's like, I got to get you. You got to get a little bit of some of this. And so, yeah, it is targeted and it's intense. That he gonna be intense.
Sure.
You will be fringed. It would be fringed.
That's why you got
do
orange
agree
on.
with that.
Okay, then. It would be fringed. You be like, Dad, what hit me?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, look,
is
y'all,
accurate.
we got to do this.
Okay.
We got to give it up to Jay too.
Oh my gosh.
We got to give it up to
Absolutely.
Jay. Jay has worked behind the scenes for
And
a number of
taking
years.
abuse for all these years.
Jay,
Grab the mic. Grab the mic.
It's the last show. Come in front of the camera, Jay.
Testify.
Because the people need to see
Testify.
how you were treated this year.
Testify. No, don't
And
talk about
this was-
this year.
No, wait.
No,
This
thank
was-
you,
one
Sil.
year?
Thank you,
This
Sil.
was one of
And
the
we not
reasons
even
why I
halfway
said
through.
Right.
He said I'm
Thank
not
you,
getting in
Sil.
front of the mic.
Because
Jay?
he's trying to change the narrative.
this was one of the
Tell
reasons
him
why I said it can't go on no more.
historically.
How you were treated this year.
Historically.
Here's the thing. And I'm gonna say behind the camera because I said that when I saw Kevin, I was gonna suplex him through the table.
See?
So this is all.
It's WWE.
Yeah, this is all I would say. Historically, through the show, Kevin Swan
Kevin Swan.
has always come for me some way, some form, some fashion. He'll go in the chat and be like, "Hey, see, Jay said he can't stand you."
Yes.
I stood up for you, but he said he ain't like you.
Yes.
Or he'll say, "Hey, Alvin, they say you always late, you always do X, Y, Z."
Yes.
But I told him I love you, I got your back.
That's true.
Now,
Every time.
but
Call your names. all that stuff.
Okay, hold on. Now, Tom. Now, wait,
Tom,
Tom.
Tom, let me advise you. Let me advise you. Let me
Tom.
be your attorney.
Now I'm gonna tell you that's a penalty for perjury.
So
No,
a perjury.
you'll remember.
No, so Tom, it was a time that you called me intellectually challenged.
I said what you did was intellectually challenging.
No, you said that I was. You said that I
I
was.
said what he did was intellectually challenging,
The-
and I still believe what he did was intellectually challenging.
The
I don't
only-
repent for that. I
The
still
only
believe
two
it.
people that have not come for me on the show is Alvin
You
and
need to go
Marcy.
kick rock.
You are lying up in here.
You need to go kick rock.
That man, she called you ashy, boy. What's going on?
She didn't call me ashy.
First of all,
She said you had chalk on your legs.
See, this is one of the reasons why this show is coming to an end right here.
She said you was walking in some cake batter.
it's the lies.
Cake batter.
Here we go. Kick back. What are you talking about? Here you
How
go.
you gonna come out your mouth on the last show and say that?
No, it was you, Kevin. It is you. You, as the Bible says, you are the man. You are the one.
You just said to you she mistaken your leg for a blackboard, man.
No, he was playing like the.
So hold on. So Tom go jump in.
And this is what they mean. This is what they
Feet of
mean.
clay.
But we want to take a moment and honor you, man, because everybody else, I
Wait.
tried to honor you.
Time out. How you gonna say honor me but talk about it?
I didn't talk about you. I tried to be
That's what he
honest.
does.
That's the honor. That's the honor.
He knows
Okay.
how to fine tune it.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, and make it
I've
seem like
never
it's somebody
seen,
else
I've never
that
seen
did it.
anything like it.
He's masterful.
Hey, listen,
He's
man.
masterful.
Oh, my
I give
God.
him that. He's masterful.
After all these years.
All these years. But no,
He's masterful.
all joking aside, I will say because Alvin said that I was gonna get emotional, but that's why I'm not coming in front of the camera. So
I know that.
You know,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
You scared Tom gonna call your name, man. You start crying.
Let him talk.
Actually,
Ty has always been the big brother.
he has.
trying to have a
he
moment.
is.
Let him have a moment, man.
And all I would
I'm
say,
gonna pimp smack you.
You see?
Go ahead.
It is like
Everybody.
as each moment ticks by through the show, everybody's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, that's why they need to."
Right.
That's why they need to.
Go ahead.
so all I would say is this show has been around for me in some very difficult times when it was people that I did want to do some things to that Tom would lock me up for. Namely Alvin and Kevin, even though he talk about me real bad, but when I call this Joker, he's there, he answers the phone for me. Sia may not answer the phone for me all the time, but she gonna send me a text. She gonna send me a text, and
3 days later,
maybe four.
after you done got about the grave.
Yeah, I got by that grave. I'm walking around. I'm walking around.
Ready for Pentecost.
I'm showing the scar. I'm showing the scar.
At that point, he's already stepped out of his grave clothes.
Why they do you like that, Sia?
Because she knows the truth.
She said she's not perjuring herself.
This is the last
She
show.
will drop
She
off
is
for a
not
second.
here.
She'll drop off
She has
for a
arisen.
second. And she said, when I come back to you, I come back to you. You know, it ain't personal. I just dropped
But you ain't
off.
gotta go ghost.
She will ghost you.
I mean,
she was straight Casper.
Casper's a
That's her
nickname.
nickname, Casper.
I'm gonna let you have your moment because that's not fair. It's true, but I would like to revisit.
I mean, it's a true statement.
And then Jay, don't forget, after she was gone for 5 days, then she showed up and called you Ashy, man. You know what I'm saying? I just don't understand.
She asked a
What
question.
happened?
She asked the question.
I answered the question, and we moved
And it
on.
was
And he changed
over.
the narrative.
So
did.
if somebody
As he
asks you
always
a
does.
question if that's Ash, don't
I'm
that
not going to
imply
agree with anything
Okay,
you
I
say.
would like
So
to.
don't
I
come
would
to
like
me.
to point out that Jason was in a serious moment.
Thank you.
Can we give him back his
honor
moment?
that?
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, just
Behave yourself.
at the end of the day, I'm just grateful for this space because it allows me to make like real friends with people that you everybody at the table are very, very polarized in their fields. People are scared of Anton. Alvin, she make men spit the water out because they're enamored. Swan, he threatened people without threatening people.
And he lied on him. Don't look at that part. That part is very important.
You are damaging my reputation. I would not stand for this. I would not stand for this.
That part is very
I would not stand for this,
We
Tom.
can't forget
What is
that
he
part.
calling a terrible?
A terrible person. A terrible person.
She said you are. She looked you right in the eye and said it too. You are a terrible person. A whole. That's the part I liked about
And
it.
if you are watching this show today,
I hope all
the
the
show
Ivy
before,
comes
we
off.
gonna have that. We probably had that clip where she called you a terrible person, and she ambushed you at the end of the show, and we went off there.
She sure did.
That
I remember that.
that may make it too. But no, all jokes aside, I love all y'all. I was angry when you said this is over, but I do know to everything there's a season, so we're gonna keep moving and make it do what it do.
Love you, man.
Oh my God.
I don't like you.
Well, you ain't got to like me to say you've been very instrumental behind the scenes.
Oh my
He's
God.
been phenomenal.
And Al, we affectionately call she calls you Huck.
Yep.
From the show Scandal because
Yep,
Huck
'cause he gets the
handled
job
all the stuff
handled.
behind the scenes.
Always.
And Jay, you have done that,
Yeah.
and you've done it with
My pleasure, man.
you've done it with
Yeah.
grace. So we appreciate you.
Still don't like you though.
Because he's a terrible person, according to my Sia, I'm telling you.
Okay,
that should have
let me
been
come back.
that should have been a clip that we somehow take. It was a production
But
meeting,
no,
y'all.
wait, I was gonna say it was not on air.
No, it was a production meeting. Because in the production meeting, we really are raw. And it was a production meeting, and we were telling each other how we felt about each other.
Yeah.
Because we could do that with your family. You could say that, and
Yeah,
then when
the
you come
whole
back
thing.
outside, you good to go.
Yeah.
And it was the truth. It was the truth.
And it was at a particular moment where you had just come for everybody.
It was the truth.
And we all had
Enough.
enough.
We all had, I feel
I
of
come
you.
in love, audience.
No, he was a terrible human being.
I speak the truth in love. That's what the scriptures
and
teach
she
us.
had the courage to say it, and when she said it,
out.
we all said,
We're like,
yes.
Oh my God.
Like, yes, that's true.
The level of slander that's on this show today.
Like, yes, that's true.
Well, you know, for slander, don't you have to prove that it's wrong?
It has to be false.
It has to be false.
It has to be false.
The way I'm being treated on this show today.
we just
Oh
telling
my
you the
God.
truth.
Is that
We
what-
love you. We love you. We wouldn't trade you for anything. Not even for a Billy Goat. I'm just saying, but
Love me but horrible.
a Billy Goat.
All right, look, we do have a subject today that we got to get to.
We do?
Can we get to
Goodness.
it?
Oh, gracious.
You know, because
Okay.
one of the things that made our show special is that we always talked about what we desire for our people.
Yes.
Because the stuff that we do in our day to day, we see our people, and we just want more. We want better for our people, man.
Yep. Yes.
And so each of us are in our own spaces. And so what I want to do is just kind of give everybody a chance in your own space as we evolve. Mm-hmm. What is the last thing you want to like see it for our people? If somebody's watching this show and they're like, yeah, this is the last one. So going forward, they're going to watch like 5 years from now, 10 years from now. What would you want for our people based on the work that you do in the political space?
My hope is that we will read. It is so important. We knew back in 2016 and 2020 that specifically Black people were targeted with misinformation and disinformation in order to sway our elections. The number of questions that I get, which there's no such thing as a dumb question, but the questions sometimes let me know we didn't read, what was going on. We didn't find a source to back up what the Facebook post that we saw. And I think a lot of vulnerability in that makes us make bad decisions. And so I'm very nervous about where we are in this moment of history. And I think we can equip ourselves to protect ourselves, but also to have a better, full, bold vision of who we are supposed to be, who we can be based off who we have been, if we read.
So do you think apathy plays a part in that?
I don't. I don't see much apathy. I see very strongly held opinions based off bad information. I see, and sometimes good information. So say, for instance, if there are people that are fed up with politics and government in general, 9 times out of 10, if I have a conversation with them, their frustration is justified because this government and these politics have not been for them ever. But then when I offer a view of like, but what if you use this strategically, right? And it's not your savior, it's not your hope, it's not, but it's a chess move in order to get what you need. Now we're having a conversation. So I think it's just the perspective that, back in the civil rights when the courts were bringing down these decisions that the government saved them from other government. But right now, a lot of the government is not for us on multiple levels and multiple. I mean, we can't count on the courts. We can't count on the executive branch, and legislative branch depends on what if you're talking about city or a state or a feds. But that was never where we were supposed to put all of our eggs in that basket. We were never supposed to put all of our hope in some governmental entity. We got those decisions through the courts because of what people stood up and did, like the plaintiffs, the lawyers, right? And I think we get the outcome twisted without reading about what the playbook actually says. So if we're looking back at civil rights and we're looking at, I hate when I hear people say, "Oh, I'm not my ancestors, because I would do this, this, and this," thinking that it was easy to sit there and get spat on and get, shakes poured on you at the lunch counter. Nonviolence is not easy. So what the sentiment may mean is I need to shift the playbook a little bit because times have shifted. And let's say let's put Malcolm and Martin together as opposed to all one or the other, right? But I don't think we get to that next step of planning. And what we have ahead of us in the next couple of years is going to take some strategic planning. And sitting out elections is not strategic. Not being involved in local decisions is not strategic. Like, just letting life happen to you is not strategic. But doing work takes some reading, takes some information, takes some tapping in.
So with that, because there's information everywhere.
Yes.
There's social media, there's, reputable sources. I think we've talked about that before. Tell the people, where should they go to read? Where don't go look at Pookie's page on social media.
Right. If Pookie's page does not have a link to a reputable source.
So what is a reputable source in this day and time?
So I still think that there are some forms of media that are still reputable, but I lean towards more the independent. So I will read the 19th. The independent sources, Courier News, there's Virginia Mercury. That does have a slant towards, I'll say, those of us that are for civil rights and justice, right? But WHRO, even international news. Like if you were to go in and check in on the news in France, the Middle East, and Australia, and see how these other countries are looking at America right now.
Oh, they're laughing at us.
But the average person in some of these other countries already knew what tariffs were. And didn't have to have that explained to them to know it was a bad idea, or that, China is not the one that actually pays for this. And so where we are with people having voted for this administration and having buyer's remorse, these other countries, because they're teaching, because they're reading, and I am generalizing, but because they generally know what's going on around the world, they were begging us not to do what we did. And when I say we, I do mean everyone other than those, blah, blah, blah. But I think, and I don't want to get into this place where I name this finite list, but there is a chart that will show you, and you can Google it, and it's like political slant of news outlets. And it'll let you know who's more centrist, who's more right-leaning, who's more left-leaning, and you can find those. They're independent news sources. I like the 19th because they take a lot of things into consideration. I don't necessarily think New York Times and Washington Post all the time, but when you look at that editorial board and you look at some of those opinion pieces by experts, that's important. But good old journals, like journals by scientists have a lot to say. And just because we don't like what they say doesn't mean that they're bad people or should be fired. Like, there's so much learning and truth that is just being denigrated by an administration who has said out loud out of their mouths that he loves the uneducated. And it is because he can constantly lie to the uneducated without them knowing. But if you're reading, you know how tariffs work. You know that it's probably a bad idea to take a $400 million gift from another country, even when the Constitution says that that is absolutely unconstitutional. So these things, you're not easily able to be gaslit in the moment of like, that's not a gift. That's not a gift, because you already know. No, that's a gift. You see what I mean?
I do.
Like just reading, but I get the question. But literally and truly, if it doesn't have a source, if you can't point back to the original author, please do not forward it. Please do not post it.
Yeah.
That's something small we can start with.
Yeah, I saw somewhere, I don't know if y'all saw, Harvard is now offering a free class on government. To anybody that wants to take it, because the last time most people took government is in high school, right 12th grade. For me, you had to pass a government class. How long ago was that? 30 plus years ago. Right. So most people aren't even familiar with government, and I think anything that happens to the nation, y'all know, our people is more exacerbated.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of ignorance there that we got to correct.
And also too, and last thing I'll say, what reading can help you with is, and I think this is the most important part for me, is when we dream or when we see what the future can be, please know that it does not have to be what it has always been. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And like if you think we've always known struggle, and you think that poverty, experiencing homelessness, famine, all of that is just a part of life, please understand that a lot of the experiences that we have are policy decisions. Mm-hmm. Like homelessness is a policy decision. We are making a choice as a society to have people who are unhoused. We are making a choice for people to work 40 hours a week and not be able to pay their bills. We are making a choice in DC right now, as they are talking about how many people will have major impact on their food access, their housing, and their health care, in order for about 80 millionaires and billionaires to get tax breaks. That is a policy choice. So we don't have to always accept what comes to us as inevitable.
Yeah.
And you have to read, I think, in order to know that your current was not inevitable.
Yeah. All right, people. So that's the command. That's the goal. That's the wish for Sia. Yes. We got to read more reputable sources.
Yes.
reading on social media don't count.
It does not.
That don't count.
It really doesn't.
That's just you scrolling. That don't count. All right, Al, we're coming to you. You know, you came on the show as originally the relationship expert, right? But we were the pastor study, and when you came on, you used to come on, and then I think it was like the fourth Tuesday of every month, right? And then everybody started calling in. That's when we were doing live shows, right? People calling in like, okay, is Alvin coming today? Alvin? Her name is Alvian. Can we get the last show? Can we get her name? Alvian. Say it together. Not Alvin. Not Alvin.
2 syllables. It's 3.
Alvian, right? What would you like to see for our people going forward in the relationship space? And I know that's a lot to unpack, but Lord have mercy. What's one thing?
Okay, so let's start first, because people always say that we forget the singles, because 3 of us have been married for a very long time at this point. Gotten married. 2 of us got married very, very early. Anton was a little bit later on, but we've all been married for a significant period of time. So Marcia is the only person who is representing the singles, air quote.
Them not married.
But and that's what I mean, as in non-married, not as in free for all, okay? As in non-married on a technicality. And then of course Jason is also married too. So I want to be fair, right? So I'm going to start first from a dating perspective. What would I want most for those of us who are looking for a partner? And my answer to that, and I've said this before, but let me say it again because hopefully it will stick, is that never go shopping while you're hungry, because you are guaranteed to put crap in your cart. Okay?
Lord have mercy.
And what I mean by that from a dating perspective is that if we don't learn how to be happy alone, if we can't fall in love with ourselves first, we will pick someone who is guaranteed to make us regret the decision that we made. It is in the Bible, because we love the word, to the hungry heart, every bitter thing is sweet. If you cannot get full for yourself and you're waiting for someone else to fill you, do understand there is a real enemy, and he is not interested in you finding a godly partner. He's not interested in you coming to your purpose. His whole point is to make sure that you never see it. And one of the most significant ways I am watching people not reach their purpose, the purpose for which God created them, is by virtue of who they choose romantically. The most important decision you're going to make in your life is the partner that you choose. They are either anchor or air. They're going to drag you to the bottom, or they're going to set you free to reach the top. But there is no neutrality in relationships. There's just time before you see the impact of the decision you made for who you picked. So from a single perspective, I want our people to embrace the therapeutic experience in ways that, just along with church, go to therapy, y'all. Work through the stuff that you saw, that you heard, the things that became normal that were actually trauma, so that you don't repeat it. And then choose friends that you don't have to do the trauma Olympics with.
Right.
Okay? So that we're not either all running together through the multi-man race of trauma to see which one of us gets to the worst level of trauma first, only for the rest of us to pretend that this is normal in some way. Nor should you be surrounding yourself with the kind of people who want to ignore that you are in trauma.
Right.
So there's that it's the strong man thing, the gold medal goes to the person who can experience and survive the most trauma, right? We don't need that in our worlds, all right?
We got enough of that.
So from a single perspective, I really want us to get healthy and whole. So out of a full belly, we choose our partners, because we create something different as a byproduct of that. From a married perspective, I would really like us to be kinder to our partners. We take for granted the gift of someone wanting to do forever with you. And as a byproduct, we give the best versions of ourselves to the people out there who will not remember your name And we give the worst version of ourselves to the people who have sacrificed everything to be with us. I want us to be kinder to the people who have said yes to us, because it is a choice.
It is.
And let us not pretend that almost all of us have options. My dad used to always say, even a broken clock is right twice a day. And that is to say that even someone that you think is worth nothing, there are at least 2 people on this planet that want that person. So do understand that everybody has options. You are not their only option. It is a gift that someone chooses to be with you, to walk with you, to go through difficult things with you, to love you, not just because of the good things you do, but in spite of the ways that you forget to do good things. That we be kinder to each other. And then from a parenting perspective, I need us to go back to parenting. We're so busy chasing everything, catching nothing, that we are forgetting the thing that we are most responsible for. And to be children of God, the closest we will ever get to the experience of God is the gift of being able to lead another. And we cannot take that responsibility lightly, because we will answer for it. The Bible said, if you cause one of these who believed in me to not, it is better that you have a millstone tied around your neck and you be cast to the bottom of the ocean. That God takes the child so seriously that we have a responsibility for who we are in front of them and in their absence. So I ask that we go back to parenting, no matter how we do it, y'all. And I'll tell you firsthand, there are going to be days that you want a refund. No! Guaranteed.
Facts.
Where is the receipt? Because this is not what I purchased,
Yeah,
okay?
I mean,
there are going to be those days, and you are going to have to remember that God decided that you were the person who needed to be that little human or big human's parent, because there's something he put on the inside of you that they needed, and it's our job to find it, to nurture it, to cultivate it, so it can show up for the job we're supposed to do in the privilege of being able to serve his child that is in our care. We got to go back to parenting, but that still takes us back to doing the work for ourselves, because we are a well. And if we don't clean ours, our children are drinking dirty water,
Lord have
because
mercy.
we will not move. Anything that is still, any water that is still, becomes swamp. We have to be beat against the rocks. We have to move. We have to grow so that our children are drinking of our clean supply, rather than the toxicity of our unwillingness to evolve.
Well said, Al. And I think, we've had these conversations a lot, right? And I think for us, we go back historically when Black people didn't have nothing.
Right.
But the only thing that we had was community.
Yes. And we took good care of it back then.
Right? Reconstruction, slavery, Jim Crow, we ain't had nothing.
Yep.
And now we had access to more things than we've ever had.
Yep.
And we got our families tore up.
100%.
It's flipped. And you could argue we're worse off now, because we don't have the family unit that we used to have, the neighbor down the street, the community, the village.
Yep.
That's missing in our society, and it's hard to watch. Right.
And to be clear, that is, you are not saying that in the
We
same
need to
vein
go
as
back,
that white
right.
lady said that we should go back to slavery.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
I just want to clarify, because the context, you
No,
bring
I'm
the whole
talking about
context.
us.
No, period. I just want to make sure that the hearer didn't hear.
That are going
Yes.
on right now,
How-
trying to take us back.
Right.
Yeah, but-
the systems and the structures that actually came in to disintegrate those families, not that we were better off under said circumstances.
And I know you go to systems and structures. We go to what we do.
No, I was just clarifying
Right.
for the hearer.
What we do.
I was just clarifying for the hearer.
Right?
Understood.
And yes, you're right. But it's like we survived all of that because we had family dynamics.
Right.
Yep. Only
That
to
part.
give it away voluntarily.
Correct.
Because that's really, because you're so right. That was put upon us, and we survived it in the onslaught. We chose each other. Then when that comes up off of us, and I say that in air quotes because we're still in the fight
Absolutely.
in various ways, then we choose to give it away.
Yes. The only way we survived it, we had no choice but to stay together.
Yep. But
And
now,
some have argued that integration started that, right?
It's true.
And then from
Some
there,
say.
we started feeling like we didn't need to depend on each other like we used to.
we became individualistic.
Yeah, and it's
and hungry for the wrong thing.
yes,
100%.
So that they somebody said it. The biggest trick was America getting us to look toward the next paycheck up without realizing we're actually closer to the person one paycheck down from us, right? And just like this rat race to have as opposed to this journey to be, and how there's some folks that will sell each other out for literally $1.
Yeah, for a sandwich.
Literally
facts.
For the sandwich.
And now you see the dysfunction playing out in social media.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Everywhere.
And
it's
we see it
live.
in his space because when we stop caring about each other, we stop valuing life, and then we end up with the criminality that, and we've talked about it a million times, that what we do to each other is even worse than what's being done to us as a community.
Yes. And we got to get back to that. And so, Todd, I'm coming to you, man. Your space.
I get the scraps.
Your world. You get no scraps?
I get the scraps.
No!
Well, you don't. I want you to talk, man. I'm getting the scraps. I'm going to go behind you.
I got some scraps.
I'm going to talk about the church.
I got scraps, but yeah.
What do you want for the people?
What do you want, man, in the space that you see every day, man, in the legal space?
I'm going to go beyond the legal space. I'm going to talk about our people because, unfortunately, what we see in the legal space is the result of what happens in
when
private
the
spaces.
others, when everything else fails.
And so, and Al and I, for years, did an initiative where we talked about if you don't heal what's going on in the home, it's going to spill out into the streets.
Yep.
And so, unfortunately, I deal with what spills out into the streets.
Courageous conversations with the Commonwealth.
With the Commonwealth, exactly. Yep. So, what I'm going to say, and Al, you already said it, but it's not surprising that you said it because we have had these conversations before.
For years.
I want our people to understand their value. Because I believe that is the number one reason why we see so much dysfunctionalism in our community. I had the opportunity to go to a meet and greet. Someone said, I want to throw you a fundraiser. Because, it's the election year. And they said, I want to throw you a fundraiser. And it was another group. It was outside of the African-American race. And it was nothing but businessmen and many millionaires. And they were driving the best, living their best life, wives, children, the whole nine. I didn't have to do anything but just show up. And I'm just watching them for about 2 hours. And I'm watching how they interact with each other. I'm watching how the kids are interacting with each other, particularly how the children are respectful to the parents and how they already at young ages know what they want to do. And when they were introducing me to like some of their sons, all of them said, oh, I'm in UVA. And I said, what's your major? Finance. I'm here. What's your major? Business. And then they pointed to one guy and they said, oh, he's different. Ask him his major. I said, what's your major? He said, law. And I looked at one of them who is, if I told you what he did, you all would know exactly who he was. I said, I see what you're doing. I said, you're building generational wealth, and they're teaching it to them as babies. And I said, okay, can I ask you an intimate question? I said, we have an issue in our race. Among us, there is a lot of broken people and hurting people. And I said, how is it? Because this is not a white race. This is another minority group. So I'm like, how is it, or what is it that you guys are doing to produce the results that you are getting? And so he said, we educate. He said, so when you said read,
great equalizer.
you hit it on the nail. He said, we educate them from young. And all those kids were going to UVA, George Mason, top universities. They were having a pick. And he said, we educate them. When they come home, we ask them about their school. We get involved in their schooling. We are intentional about their schooling. Now, mind you, so many of us, many are in single parent homes, so they're working, some are carrying 2 jobs, and so they're so busy trying to deal with the physical needs and trying to survive that sometimes they don't have the energy and sometimes even the sight or the vision to focus on something that is down the road because they're taking care of the immediate needs. I get that. I've seen that. I grew up in that. So I get it. But one thing that my mom did, you always talk about me being the exception.
You were.
But one thing that my mom did not play when it came to education.
Correct.
She did not play. She would tear it all up. She would destroy everything to make sure that we were on point with our education. And she put a book in my hand in the hood. And she said, you can be whatever you want to be. You can do whatever you want to do. You can go wherever you want to go with this book. And as a result of that, I tell you, I went to school for free, undergrad and law school for free, because I believed her. And education was the great equalizer. And so that comes back to valuing who you are as not only a person individually, but then your people. Because once you value yourself, then you can value other people. It's hard for people to value the life of another person when they don't even value their
themselves.
own life.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've heard young people say, I'm not going to live to be at the age of 19, and they prophesy their own murder.
Tune in next week for part 2 of our series finale.